Supreme God is there. So if Krishna is satisfied, then they will be satisfied also, and they will supply. And they will supply actually whatever is needed, and also at the proper time. Whereas if people are sinful, they don't obey the laws of God, then there will be some difficulty. Then there will be maybe sometimes too much rain or not enough rain, and different difficulties will be there. But if one is worshipping Krishna, then the demigods are satisfied and everything is quite in order. Of course, now in the age of Kali these days, because the majority of the people are not God conscious, so therefore there are more difficulties. But the devotees who depend on Krishna and who are serving Krishna, despite the environment not being maybe so conducive, despite the majority of the people not being God conscious, not being pious, but still the devotees will be protected by Krishna and they will get whatever they need. But difficulties will be there also for the devotees. But by the mercy of the Lord they are protected, and by the mercy of the Lord they can tolerate the difficulties. Especially in the age of Kali, but any time in the material world difficulties will be there. But more so in the age of Kali. So one was taking birth, Janma. For him death is certain. So that Krishna is explaining also in the Bhagavad Gita. So taking birth is not very pleasurable, both for the mother and the child. So the mother has to carry the child for 9 months, some difficulties are there, and the child also is just in the womb and cannot move around much. And then also if the mother is eating too many spicy things, that will affect the child. And even sometimes some wounds are there in the womb and they're biting. The child is completely helpless. And through a pipe it is being nourished, umbilical cord is there, and so some nourishment will be given. And but it is not very comfortable, very uncomfortable situation. And then time of birth also, so with great difficulty. So there's labor pain for the mother, and the child has to come out, so which is also full of pain. And then usually the child is crying because of so much pain. And even when the child is not crying, usually the doctor is slapping the child a few times so that it will cry and it will breathe. So difficulties are there in life, unavoidable. And as one is living in this world, diseases are there. So constantly some difficulties there. And then old age. Because if one is young, one cannot really imagine what is old age like, but if one is getting older, then one can feel the pain and the difficulty of old age. So, but if Krishna is in the center and one is trained, and usually right from childhood one has to be trained by the parents to engage in Krishna consciousness, in the service of the Lord, and then one will get the strength to tolerate the difficulties, and then one will get some pleasure by serving Krishna, by serving the Supreme Lord through the via media of the Spirit Master. And then because of this pleasure also, then one will also be enthusiastic to continue despite the difficulties which are always coming. And then one will get realization of the subject matter, and that will give more strength, more determination to continue. And then whatever, so as explained here, so we will require food grains, so that we will get by the arrangement of the Lord. That is also mentioned in the scriptures, that whatever is supposed to get, that we will get, according to our past activities also. So if one has been very pious in the last lifetime, then one will be in a better situation and more easily one will requires, and one will be more peaceful. If one has been sinful in the previous life, then there will be more difficulty. But if one is surrendered to Krishna, even if in the previous life one has been sinful, one becomes purified, one becomes free from all contamination, and then one can also enjoy a wonderful life in Krishna consciousness, being happy, happily engaged, and then all the necessities are supplied by Krishna. In the 9th chapter also Krishna has explained that Ananya Shintayan Tamam Yajana Payapasade Desham Nityavayoktanam Yoga Shemam Vahamyaham. Those who are constantly engaged in devotional service. So with love, to them I give what they lack and preserve what they have. So Krishna personally will take care of his devotees. Or sometimes through his devotees, he will help the devotees. So in this way, so in every way, spiritually speaking, Krishna will keep us happily engaged in Krishna consciousness. He will help us overcome the difficulties, and whatever we need to maintain the body and soul together, that will be supplied also. Not only food grains, but we need vegetable fruits, we need clothing, we need a place to live. So when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will supply everything. But we have to surrender, we have to serve Krishna voluntarily and with love and devotion. Although there may be difficulty, even in execution of our activities, difficulties will be there, but by Krishna's mercy, so we can remain peaceful even amongst the greatest difficulties of this material world. So Krishna is very kind to his devotees. So therefore they are saying, devotees are saying, Krishna Mata Krishna Pita Krishna Pranada. Krishna is just like a father or a mother, even more than a father and a mother. He's the Lord of the life of the devotees. Just like a child, he doesn't even have to think. Usually small children, they simply want to play. And they're not caring about what to eat, when to eat, what to wear, what dress to wear. They just want to play. But the parents are giving without the child asking something to eat. Of course, sometimes they want some ice cream or chocolate or whatever, some sweets. And then the parents, they will usually give to the small child. But whatever is required, what is good for the child, so the parents, they will give, especially the mother will take care. And then the clothing will be there, and then it's sent to school also. So parents are making all arrangement. But ultimately, Krishna is making all arrangements. So if one has been pious in the last lifetime, then one will be able to take birth in a family of pious persons, in a family of devotees. So that is by Krishna's arrangement. If one is not so pious, not devoted to the Lord, then he will not take birth in a devotee family usually. So ultimately Krishna is providing for everything. Krishna is helping us in our Krishna consciousness and to fulfilling all our needs in every way. So therefore, and because it is the constitutional position of the living entity to serve Krishna, Jivara Sopoy Krishna Nityadas, that is the constitutional position, that is the natural tendency of the Jiva is to serve Krishna. In the liberated state, everyone is serving Krishna. That is the natural position in the spiritual world. Everyone is serving Krishna. There's nothing else except service to Krishna. Whereas in the material world, in the conditioned state, so the modes of material nature are there, the external energy is there, and so the unfortunate Jiva is then engaged in material activities. But Krishna himself So he has come, he has given the Bhagavad Gita for our benefit, and through his devotees also, is helping the devotees or the conditioned soul to accept Krishna consciousness, to engage in Krishna consciousness, and helping so the practicing devotee to make more and more advancement so that they can become perfect and realize their spiritual nature as eternal souls of Krishna. So it is a gradual process, and but if you simply follow the guidelines given by Krishna himself, and then especially also presented by the Spirit Master, because many times we may not understand what Krishna wants to say, as in the Bhagavad Gita. So we need a purport. Or even Krishna is in our heart. But only if one is pure, one can hear Krishna, one can see Krishna in the heart. So as long as one is conditioned, one needs the guidance, the help of the Spirit Master, who is the representative of Krishna, who has seen Krishna, who knows Krishna. And then he will guide us, he will help us, so that we are properly situated, so that we are following the rules and regulations given by Krishna himself, explained in the scriptures. And then he will also tell us about Krishna, about the wonderful pastimes of Krishna, as they're also given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and also presented by the associates of, especially Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is a Kali Yuga avatar. He's not different from Radha Krishna. And he has introduced the Sankirtan Yagya. So the congregational chanting of the holy name, Sankirtan, which is the sacrifice in the age of Kali. Of course, even if we do sacrifices, also fire sacrifice, like for initiation, for marriage, entering a new house, that is also required. But everything has to be accompanied by the chanting of the holy names, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So specifically it is mentioned throughout the Vedic literatures, or the literatures given by the representative of the Lord, especially in the age of Kali, by the associates of Mahaprabhu, and they have emphasized the chanting of the holy names. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement, and although he is a Supreme Lord, but he came as a devotee, showing us how to chant the holy names, how to worship Krishna, in which mood also. And then by chanting the holy names, then Mahaprabhu is satisfied, Krishna is satisfied, and then all the demigods will be satisfied too. And simply by chanting the holy names, we can get all perfection. And whatever is required, that we will receive, because Krishna Nama are different. Nama Chittamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nidha Mukto Abhinatvam Nama Naminaha. So Krishna's name are not different. So by chanting the holy names, then we are associating with Krishna, and we are pleasing Krishna also. But of course the proper mood has to be there, the proper consciousness has to be there while chanting the holy names, but even throughout the day. We must have proper consciousness. We should act for the benefit of Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure, and we should try to be helpful. We should try to serve other Vaishnavas, we should try to help other Vaishnavas, other conditioned souls, so they may also come to Krishna consciousness. And then in this way, and then by hearing about Krishna or about Mahaprabhu, then while chanting we may sometimes remember Mahaprabhu, we may remember Krishna, and then ultimately we can realize. First we chant the holy names, Nam, Krishna Nam, then the Nama Roop, then the form will be revealed of Krishna. So Krishna Nama are no different. In the beginning we cannot see Krishna when we are chanting Krishna's name. But in purified consciousness, when we are chanting the Maha Mantra, we can see Krishna. And then after that Gun, then we can see Krishna's wonderful qualities. So Roop, his beauty is there, his transcendental form, and then his loving exchange with his devotees, and his being magnanimous, he's merciful, he's kind. So many wonderful qualities are there of Krishna. He's the ocean of all good qualities. And so by hearing about Krishna and his wonderful qualities, then while chanting, we may recollect what we have heard, what we have read. And then we can chant the holy names with some ruchi, with some taste, with some priti, with some love. And then there will be more exchange with Krishna. When we see the presence of Krishna, when we feel the presence of Krishna. And ultimately the perfect stage, we can recollect the pastimes of Krishna. We can remember the pastimes of Krishna. So we have to be properly engaged, and hearing especially about Krishna or Mahaprabhu, then we can remember, and then we can nicely engage in spiritual activities. And then we can progress further and further and come to the perfectional stage. And then automatically whatever is needed, so that will be supplied. So the great devotees and Mahaprabhu himself never cared for what to eat and when to eat, but by his own potency and energy, then everything was supplied. And similarly, pure devotees also. But still, some endeavor is there, even for the pure devotees, and shown by Mahaprabhu, to follow the rules and regulations, to be regulated in one's activities. That has to be there. Yad yad acharati sheshtas tatta devatarajana saya paramam kurute lokastatanavattate. In a few verses after this, in the text number 21 in this chapter, Krishna has explained to Arjuna, so that even the great souls who are fully engaged in devotional service, they will also follow the rules and regulations, just to set the example for the common man, so that they may also follow. So therefore they are also following, although their love, their relationship with Krishna is established, and therefore whatever they need is supplied without any endeavor. And they may not have to follow the rules and regulations because they are established in their relationship, but still, for the benefit of the conditioned souls, they will follow the rules and regulations to set the example for the common man, so they may also follow. Because as explained there, Krishna is saying whatever the great man is doing, the common man are following. And that is natural phenomena. And we can see in the material world also. Even sometimes materialistic person, when they are famous, then the common man will try to imitate them also, or follow them, but there's not much benefit of that. So therefore, even the Lord himself, or the pure devotees, and they are following the regulative principles, and they are setting the example for the common man, so they may also follow. They may also adopt the principles of devotional service, and so they may then engage in devotional service, and so then they may get the benefit and advance more and more in Krishna consciousness. So yajna, so that has to be performed. So in previous yugas, 5 sacrifices were performed, and in this age, the main yajna sacrifice, that is chanting the holy names. So yajna also means, so as the word says, as we say sacrifice, that it means we have to endeavor to a greater extent, tolerating all difficulties. Nama yajna mahayajna. So even it is explained, even for the chanting of the holy names, although it is easy to chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It is not difficult from one point of view. Simply one has to vibrate the tongue, and then one has to hear. But at the same time, so the mind has to be controlled somewhat, or at least one has to try to control the mind, and wants to pray to Krishna so that we can control the mind. Then there will be full benefit. But if the mind is going here and there, then there will be not full benefit. So sometimes to control the mind, it is a great sacrifice also. When one is chanting, I think most of you, all of you have experience while chanting, one is chanting, trying to concentrate, but the mind wants to go here and there, rather than thinking about Krishna. So it is a kind of sacrifice also. But also Mahayagya, that means in the age of Kali, there's so much benefit of chanting the holy names, individually and collectively. So for our benefit, it is for our benefit if we chant the holy names. But it should be there for the pleasure of the Lord. Nama Yagya Mahayagya, Kala Kalmasanasanam. And then by chanting the holy names, by endeavoring nicely, then the impurities, kalmash. So from being in the age of Kali, due to associating with the most impure nature, so that will be destroyed. Nashanam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Priti Arte, Nama Yagya Samarpanam. So we should chant, and then we should offer that to Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Priti with love. We should offer that to Krishna, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then there will be reciprocation there. And then we'll be satisfied. And then we'll be able to advance in our spiritual life, and whatever is required, that will be supplied. So one time there was one Brahmana. He saw that verse of the Bhagavad Gita. I recited that. Ananya Shintam Tumam Yajanapai Pasate Chetesam Nityavayuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamiyaham. So he was thinking, how this is possible that Krishna himself, Vahamiyaham, means I carry myself, I give that myself. He was thinking, how this is possible that Krishna will give whatever I need, that he himself will give. So then he was crossing and he wanted to correct and saying that it is caused by Krishna to come. So Krishna will arrange through his agents, through some modality, to somehow or other, but he will not directly give. So he was crossing this line, Vahamyaham, I directly gave 2 times. And then he was going to take his bath in a river nearby, and he told his wife, I'm going to take bath nearby, in the nearby river, as he was doing daily in the river, and then I will try to collect something also. She was telling him also, we have hardly anything at home to eat. We need some vegetables and some grains we need. So please, you have to arrange something. So Brahmanas, they used to beg also. Of course, they were doing yagyas, so they were teaching the scriptures, so then they were getting some remuneration, but sometimes they have a little less. So she was telling him, you should try to beg something, we need something. So he was going to take his bath, and in the meantime, 2 boys came to the house of the wife of the Brahmana, and they were carrying 2 big bags with great difficulty, and they put it there. And she was saying, oh, who are you? Oh, well, we are just 2 boys from nearby, and so your husband actually, he told us to bring these things home. And actually, your husband also beat me. And he was showing in his back, and there were 2 lines there in the back. What? Why? He's beating you. Oh, because I was not ready to carry. Oh, this is not nice at all. So then they put it down, and she gave them something to eat. She had something. The devotees usually always have Mahaprasad. And then they left. And then when the Brahmana came back, so she was scolding her husband, what are you doing? And he's saying, what do you mean? You sent these 2 boys and you beat one of the 2 boys also? There are two lines on his back with a strap, you beat him also? And then he's saying, no, I didn't do anything. And who are these two boys? I don't know any two boys. And she was saying, yes, one was a little darker in complexion and one was fair in complexion. And then realized this must have been Krishna and Balaram. And then he was, tears were coming from his eyes, and then he told his wife that he actually crossed Vahamiyaham, and then he realized that actually Krishna personally will take care and bring something to his devotees. So we should have faith that Krishna will always help us, and he will help us to advance in spiritual life, and whatever we need, he will supply. So and also in the age of Kali, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very merciful, even more merciful than Krishna. So Krishna is sometimes also saying, you surrender to me and then I will reward you. But Mahaprabhu is saying, you just chant holy names and then slowly but surely you can surrender. So because to surrender is not so easy. So but to chant holy names that anyone can do, and by the process of chanting and then slowly your consciousness is purified and then we can surrender. So therefore we should take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then all your desires will be fulfilled and you can get some Mahaprasad now also. Hare Krishna. Radha Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.